Heart rate 115. Oxygen level 70% and dropping. He needs epinephrine now. I woke up expecting the Grey's Anatomy scene to fade away. Wednesday, July 31st, 2019. My family and I were driving back to our hotel from a Safeway in California. I opened a box of granola bars that I'd eaten several times before. As I began eating, my throat closed up and my skin erupted into mosquito-like bumps. As the hives started to appear throughout my body, the feeling of suffocation trickled up to my neck and surrounded my throat like a spider catching a fly. I started whisper screaming with the little breath and voice I had, pleading to my parents to take me to the hospital. I was without medication, no EpiPen on site, no life-saving pill to give me any hope of seeing August 1st. We reached the hospital a couple minutes later. I was on the verge of not being able to breathe at all. When the doctor arrived, I attempted to pester him with questions with the little breath I had, desperate to know if I was going to live. Fear and anxiety filled my body, which continued to elevate as 4 needles, one after another, were injected into my body, like a medical army preparing for a raid. I refused to look at my arm. I was living breath by breath, with no feeling from my nose up. Everything was numb, and my throat was closing by the second. After my reaction, I was dangerously skeptical of every food that lined the pantry wall. I dreaded the thought of eating since I knew that my life could change with one simple bite. Each day, I searched the pantry for foods that I could eat, while the labels taunted me, laughing at my weakness and dancing their way into the mouths of others. Later that summer, I had planned to go out with a couple of friends. We were excited, in the car, ready to head to lunch. Sounds simple, right? Once I arrived at the restaurant, I had to constantly confirm every ingredient I was going to consume, where the contents were going to be made, and how it was going to be cooked. I had to navigate this new landscape where I would order something with 5 to 10 follow-up questions for my order. Is it safe? Where is the bread made? Can you warm it in a separate container than his sandwich? Were some of the questions that I began asking. Ordering was a process. I realized how tough it was, and all for a sandwich and a bag of chips. I was struggling, making master Excel sheets of all the foods that were safe, and soon discovered that 220 plus million individuals across the world were struggling as well. That's crazy. 33% of the world deals with at least one food allergy. With my interest in social entrepreneurship, I yearned to find a solution. So I grabbed my notebook and began writing down note after note, excited about the ideas flowing through my head. I wanted to manufacture foods differently so there would be no chance of cross-contamination and then a subsequent allergic reaction. I envisioned a personalized meal plan delivery service, which would include nutrition counseling and a strong community for allergy-prone individuals. The solution was very intentional. Allergies were personalized, and the solution needed to be as well. La Nourriture, which translates to the food, was born as part of a greater project to change the way we eat and innovate for dietary restrictions. I'm going to put my French hat on here as I continue to talk about how the name represents an element of French culture, enjoying the art of good food and the power to create togetherness, combining the pleasure of taste with the balance between humans and the food. That's what I wanted to create. The joy of eating regardless of allergies. La Nourriture is a resulting manifestation of my obsession with entrepreneurship. My goal is to address a personal challenge while giving others the feeling of culinary freedom. There's a second overlooked aspect to severe food allergies too. After my reaction, I thought that there was a bigger, deeper driver of this idea than just generating a project that would help 220 million individuals. So I sought to understand the why. I remembered my sister, the horrified look on her face when she saw the doctors inject the IV into my body. She was hugging her jacket just like the teddy bear, attempting to find some level of comfort throughout the situation. I started to remember my parents' looks. They were unable to do anything except worry. I recalled how my friends looked a couple months prior when I was in Colorado and had another minor reaction there. There was one keystone part that stood out to me. There was no help with dealing with a problem that essentially taxed my body 3 to 5 times a day, every time I would consume a product. I wanted to ensure that counseling was a focal point and really gave parents the chance to understand what they could do for their kids, so stop worrying about the effects of their reaction or their kids sitting at the peanut-free table. I wanted to seek understanding about the problem, and entrepreneurship gave me the chance to take my story and reaction to launch something that would reduce the amount of allergic reactions on a year-to-year basis. I experienced food insecurity, and I realized that something had to change. I began with meal planning, understanding that in the United States, 200,000 individuals are sent to the hospital on an annual basis to treat their case of allergies. The majority of these cases have one common cause: cross-contamination. Meal planning allows consumers to select safe foods based on their dietary restrictions. In addition, it allows for no food-to-food particle transmission, which is a leading cause in cross-contamination. If you have a dairy allergy, your food will be manufactured differently than someone with a peanut allergy, and vice versa. The meal planning phase also provides multiple alternatives to foods that you've essentially kicked out of your diet. For the dairy patient, we can substitute something in like soy or almond milk, while for the peanut allergy patient, we can insert something like sunflower butter. La Nourriture is more than just a meal that will be sent to your house. I wanted to understand what other individuals were facing, so I launched the customer discovery process. When you think about your problems through other people's eyes, you begin to gain clarity as to how these can be solved and the actions that can be taken to move forward towards a positive direction. I reached out to several allergy-centric organizations and began talking to children, parents, and adults who struggled with the concept of allergies. The common theme across all conversations was the feeling of skepticism and loneliness that these individuals faced. They didn't know when a reaction was going to occur, and when it did, they were fighting the one thing that is meant to protect them and keep them alive, their own body. This is where the community with allergy-prone individuals and families is invaluable. Having someone who has experienced an anaphylaxis reaction to talk to and know exactly what you mean when you say it. Yet this is still a missing link within the allergy community and something that I want to nurture. No one should have to live breath by breath. La Nourriture isn't avoiding isolated incidents, it's causing a change in how allergy-prone individuals live their day-to-day lives. It's not having to spend an hour a day or even more than that worrying about whether your eating will be safe, or knowing that if you do have a reaction, those around you will be powerless. Life is meant to be enjoyed and savored. My mom shouldn't have to warn me every time I try something new to check the box, or wait until the morning to eat a new product so that way we don't have to rush to the ER at night. And when I do try a new product, it shouldn't take me 30 more minutes to eat, taking bite after bite, waiting to see if my body decides to fight the ingredients or let it pass by that day. That situation will not happen with everyone, but working to find and cultivate a solution will gradually begin to reduce the amount of hospital visits allergy-prone individuals have to endure. Because for someone, my story is more than an idea. It's a solution to a lifelong problem. La Nourriture is a way to ensure that everyone is food secure and comfortable with the everyday experience of nourishment. I'm actively building out La Nourriture, talking to allergists, understanding the greater scope of allergies and how the product can make an immediate impact. We're talking to multiple allergy-prone individuals, hoping to onboard 100+ users by March of 2021. I savor a new opportunity to ease someone's life, giving them clarity throughout such a huge problem. But don't worry, while I'm working to change the world, I'll keep my EpiPen on site. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Samson, organizer of TKS Community Talks. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to check out our channel for more insightful and inspiring talks from a community of young people training to change the world.